everybody, welcome to Chair Yoga. I'm super excited for you to be here. So welcome to my studio space. And for today's class, you will only need a chair. Sometimes we use other props, other chairs, blocks, and belts, but today you just need yourself sitting in a chair. So we're going to continue on this journey of really looking at the foundation of who we are and working our lower half. So when we think about how do we stay grounded and connected, especially during times where there's a lot of change and we're coming into another seasonal change, so it's really important to have that foundation of who you are to withstand any of those changes. And for me, I like to imagine 4 main roots coming into the ground from a tree that represents me. You can also look at it as 4 walls that hold up your structure, much like a foundation of a house. We have to have that foundation deep, deep, deep into the soil to be able to hold the structure when high winds come and rain and storms and all that happens. So when we think about that concept is related to who we are, we learn that we have 4, I like to say 4, we have a lot. We have 4 main principles in which we live our lives, the way that we make decisions, the things that are important to us. And when we know we're out of alignment, we usually feel it in our body. We feel uncertain, we feel queasy in our stomach, we feel like we can't express ourselves. We feel overwhelmed in our mind. And so those usually are indicators that we're out of alignment with some of those principles. And in the yoga world, those principles play an important role in how we actually take this practice and apply it to our life, which is really what this is all about. So we're going to work quite a bit into the lower legs today, into the lower body, but we're not going to forget about posture and how important it is to sit tall and to really show up in life with confidence and with the output of love from our heart so that we can be the best human beings we can be. So go ahead and sit really tall. And think about the lungs. We talk about this a lot. When we slouch, our lungs get really small. They actually compact. We're not able to take as full of a breath. But when we sit tall, our lungs actually elongate to the size they are, and so that we can take full breaths in. So we want to make sure that when we're sitting in a chair, we're really allowing the spine to be tall. I purposely turned my chair just slightly so that you can see that I'm not resting on the back of my chair, but rather I'm using my legs, my trunk to hold myself up. If you become fatigued and you need to take a break and lean back, do so just for a few breaths and then see if you can't get tall again. So we're going to go ahead and just sit in a tall position with the feet comfortable. I like to have my feet, toes and heels in one line. You might like to have little duck feet. That's okay. Some people who have hip pain even like to turn their toes inward. Whatever feels best for you. And so we're going to sit tall today, and we're going to find that smooth quality of the breath that helps to lower the anxieties that we have in our mind. It helps to lower our nervous system. And that smooth breath style is like circling with a breath tracing a circle. So I want you to just sit tall, maybe close your eyes, maybe not, and start to breathe in and draw a line with your mind up one side of the circle. And when you exhale, draw the line on the other side of the circle. Just loop it together. Your inhale becomes your exhale. Your inhale becomes your exhale. And we're just going to take about 5 or 6 breaths together, just feeling the inhale all the way to the top, exhale, empty. Just keep tracing that circle in your mind. Beautiful. Just do 2 more. Just notice that by putting our attention to one thing, we immediately start to quiet down the mind. Thinking about the future or the past, we're simply thinking about tracing the circle. And now as we start to come into ourselves, I want you to hear if you can hear the most far away sound in your space. It might be traffic, it might be people walking down the hall, it might be voices, it might be animals, but put your attention as far away as you can. Just take a few breaths there to really pay attention to that sound. You might hear a humming of a helicopter, ticking of a clock. And then go more inward. So bring your awareness to the space that you're in. You might hear my voice. Maybe there's soft music playing. Maybe the sound of somebody in the space with you, breathing. And then come in another layer. Listen to your own breath. Maybe it has a slight audible whisper or sound. You can see that when we put our attention to one thing, everything else goes away. You're no longer listening to the traffic or the voices. You're listening to your breath. And then finally go one more layer in, and we ask ourselves those questions. What is the foundation of my spirit? What is one principle in which I live my life? And then you listen, because you know the answer and it is heard. All right, sit really tall. Take your hands and bring your fingertips to touch, palms towards me. And I'm gonna push, 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 straighten my arms. And then pull my elbows to a bent shape, bring my hands back towards my chest. Push, push, push. Pull in. Now we're gonna add the breath. Inhale, exhale. Inhale and exhale. 2 more, just like that. So beautiful. And now we're going to bring our fingertips back towards our chest, and we're going to push the water away. Open big. Bring your hands back, fingertips touch. So we're going to inhale, stretch. Exhale, close. 3 more. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Last one. Inhale and exhale. Go ahead and close your arms. You're going to feel some heat start to build in the arms. And we're going to take our palms face up. So we're holding a nice tray of something really nice. And we're going to open, keep the elbows in. Exhale, close. Inhale. Exhale. 2 more, and then we're going to change it. So we follow our breath. Last one. Now watch this. Watch my shoulders. I'm going to inhale and exhale. Allowing my shoulders to move in all the directions that it can move. Perfect. 3 more. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, exhale. Last one. And then close. Go ahead and separate your legs wide. I'm going to scoot back just a little bit so that you can see my legs. I have my legs really wide, like I'm sitting on straddling a big horse. My spine is still not touching the back of my chair, so I'm using my shoulders to be right over my hips. And then I'm going to lean forward and rest my elbows on my thighs. From here, I'm going to begin just to rock side to side, really slow. Starting to feel a slight twist come into the body, into the spine. Perfect. And now take your right arm and reach it up to the sky. So we open up and we get a big stretch. If you're not able to move your arms like this, just do your best. Maybe you just lift your elbow. Reach, reach, reach. And now we're going to come into this action that's similar to a lawnmower. So I'm going to take my right hand and I'm going to reach down towards my left foot, get a twist, and then pull back up. Almost like I'm pulling that lawnmower cord, or I'm pulling a sword out of its sheath. I'm going to touch and I'm going to open. Beautiful. Let's add the breath. Inhale exhale. Inhale, exhale. One more. Inhale, exhale. Now inhale up to stay. Try to touch the ceiling. Reach, reach, reach. Perfect. Let's do the other side. So that arm comes back to the leg that's resting. Left arm goes up. We just get the stretch first before we add that pulling of the sword. So we bring it down towards our right foot. Might touch, it might not. And then we pull up. And then we touch. Let's add the breath. Inhale, exhale. Take an extra breath if you need to. Try to slow down the breath. Perfect. Really reach. Two more. Open. Touch your foot. Close. Open. Touch your toes. And now open and stay. Try to touch the ceiling. Really get tall. Beautiful. Bring that arm back to the legs that's sitting on the horse. And we rest our back. So when we work our back muscles, we also want to give an opportunity for them to come into neutral and just rest. So I'm going to take and push my elbows towards my thighs and start to round my spine. So I'm going to turn so that you can see. So you can see how my spine is really round compared to just resting on my elbows. So try it like that. Round your spine and then rest your spine. Try it again. Round and then rest. We're going to do 3 more. Round your spine. It should feel amazing through the shoulders. 2 more. Last one. Now just rest. Just rest. Let your spine be in neutral. If you have a lot of back pain, coming to this tipped over position takes the pressure off of the spine, and especially the low spine where we have those discs that give us so much trouble. This is a great thing to do just throughout the day. It's just to rest your elbows on your legs and lean forward. Now, you can stay just like this. And for most of us, that's going to feel great. But if you want a little bit more, let your belly come onto your legs, lean way forward and touch your toes, maybe touch the floor. And so the belly might feel like it's getting squished. That's okay. Keep going. And then as slow as you can, start to come up. So now I'm going to lean back on my chair. It's not that I'm giving up on my posture, but I'm going to lean back. And then I'm going to take my arms and sort of looping them over the back of my chair to let my chest open. So I tuck my shoulder blades back there. And watch my nose. I'm going to draw a line with my nose up and get a stretch. And then come back to neutral with the head. Bring my arms around, grab your left leg and pull it in towards the belly. So you can see that I am going to scoot way down the seat of my chair and then lean back. This sort of reclined position lets me bring my leg up. Watch what happens if I don't do that. If I try to do this by sitting with my buns towards the back side of my chair, I can't get it nearly as high. And what I want is I want to be able to take my thigh and push it into my belly. So I'm going to scoot down. And now look, you can see that I can really get there. So this mimics the laying on the floor. And because this is a chair yoga class, we don't actually get on the floor. So I'm going to wrap my left arm around my left knee and grab my hand. And now I'm going to pull in and release. So you can see I'm compressing that space. I'm pulling in and releasing. I'm just using the strength of my arms to help. I'm going to do that 3 more times. 2 more. Last one. Now reach down and grab your foot. I like to be barefoot, but you might have shoes on, that's okay. And then slide your hand to your knee. And I'm just going to take my hip and I'm going to open it and close it. So my knee's going down and then back up. So I'm actually twisting it just a little bit with my arms, letting my hip open. For many of us, we have really tight hips. So this is a great way, just like we do the shoulder like this, we're actually doing the same motion with our hip, which is the exact same joint as our shoulder. You'll do that 2 more times. Yeah, and now grab your leg underneath. So I like to hook and hold. You might interlace, you might just hold. I like to hook and hold. This kind of gives my arms a little bit of a break, but supports my leg. So my leg is pretty tight to my chest. Yours may be here, and that's okay. Perfect. Now, we're going to straighten the leg as best you can, and then bend it. So we're just starting to wake up that back of the leg a little bit. 3 more. 2 more. If you hear crunching in the knee, that's okay. It's normal as we age. And now we'll do 1 more. And just let your ankle sort of flop. I'm going to go ahead and circle. Sometimes we forget about our feet and our ankles, and they're really important. Now, bring your toes up towards your knee and down towards the floor. So you're getting a stretch for the shin and the calf muscle. I'm going to do 2 more. Perfect. Now, here's where it gets a little bit tricky. I'm going to sit up, so no more reclined position. I'm going to take my foot and cross it over my right leg. If that doesn't work for you, just cross at the knee, like you have a skirt on. If that doesn't work for you, cross at the ankle. So if you have a really long skirt on. So I'm going to go back to that initial place where I have a nice big space. I'm going to take my hands and I'm going to put 1 hand on my ankle, 1 hand on my knee. Watch my spine. Take a big breath in and then push your heart forward. So you can see I have a nice flat spine. Take a breath in, push your heart forward. You can do 1 more breath like that. And now round your spine. Perfect. And then come on up. We're going to do that whole series with the other leg. So my cheeks are at the very edge of my chair. I'm going to lean back almost as though I'm reclined, and I'm going to grab that leg. I like to hook my elbow around the knee and hold, maybe hold my arm. You might decide that you like it interlaced. So you squeeze tight, compress that space, and then lower it. So I'm squeezing in towards my liver. Squeeze really tight. Let's do 2 more. Here's 1 and 2. Grab your foot, hand on the knee. I'm going to let my knee fall and then close. So you can see if I turn towards you, I'm just opening, closing, opening, closing, really from the hip. 2 more. Perfect. And now hook your arm under or interlace or just hold. And we're going to straighten and bend. 3 more. 2 more. Last one. Let the ankle just be there. And now rotate. Draw some circles. Should feel good in the ankle. And now toes up and toes down. And toes up and toes down. 2 more. Perfect. And now go ahead and lower the leg. We're going to cross it. So sit tall. Cross it either at the knee and the ankle, or like you have a skirt on, or a low skirt. So I'm going to show you what it looks like with my legs crossed as if I'm sitting in a chair with a skirt on. I'm going to sit really tall and my heart goes forward. Notice my spine is straight, just like it was before. Take a breath and go forward. 1 more. And forward. Now round. See how that feels? Feels different than a straight spine. Come on up. So I'm going to turn towards you. So I want you to think about the soles of your feet pushing hard into the floor, into the surface of the floor, and really keep that pressure. Ideally, we want to make sure that we're engaging the lower body, even if we're working the upper body. And if we're working the lower body, we want to make sure that our upper body is strong so we're not slouching. Now, take your left leg and straighten it in front of you. So my left leg is long towards you and my toes are up. I'm gonna lean forward. So here's where you really feel a stretch in the back of the leg. Should feel good. And then come back up. Slide that leg in. Switch legs. Right leg goes straight out, toes go up, and we lean forward. And now rise back up. Go ahead and take your legs wide like you're back on that horse. And then we're gonna close the knees, open the knees. So my hands are on my legs, and you're seeing them just closing and opening. Again, hips and legs, really important. 2 more. Perfect. So we've been working on that sequence and building and layering that sequence week after week. And now that we're gonna try it with a little bit differently with our legs wide today. Typically we sit really tall and we're gonna change up some of the postures, but they'll be familiar-ish. So bring your arms up high, and that's that mountain pose that represents strength. We're gonna reach up and over the mountain today. So we're gonna get a side bend. You'll come back to center, reach up and over the other side of the mountain. Beautiful. Inhale back up. Bend your elbows like a cactus. Now, lift the heels of your feet. So I'm just pushing into my toes. Remember, we're working both lower body and upper body. For today's cactus, we're gonna tip over. We're gonna tip that cactus. Come back to center, tip the cactus. Come back to center, lower your heels. Keep your cactus arms, lift your heels, lower your heels. So we pop the heels up and lower. We're gonna do 5 more. 4, pop them up there. 3, 2, last one, lower the heels. You might have heard a clunk, I dropped them. Now make the A-OK sign, grow your tree branches. Now watch this. I'm going to lift a limb and straighten it. It's hard. Take a breath. Lower. Let's do the other side. Lift, straighten, lower, and bring your arms down. So we're just taking that sequence, changing it up. So we're going to do that again and then continue on the sequence. So find your mountain, take a breath, lean over your mountain. Come back to mountain. Lean over. Inhale. Now find cactus, lift your heels. Tip your cactus, come back to center. Tip your cactus, come back to center, lower the heels. A-OK, lift a leg. Now, your bird's gonna cross. We're really gonna focus on the shoulders and the arms here. But today we're gonna turn slightly and we're gonna push 3, 2, last one, other side. 3, 2, last one. Go back up the mountain. Remember, your legs are wide. You're sitting on a horse. Now lean forward and become a waterfall. Touch the floor. It should feel good. Let's go back up the mountain. Slide your arms up. Big breath in. And now lean forward, become the waterfall, touch the floor. The star today, we're gonna open up that big bright star. We're gonna tip over into a falling star. Lift a leg. Come back to star. Tip over, lift a leg. Come back to center and come to your heart. So when we think about the foundation of a structure or building a home, it goes deep into the ground. And as we live in that house and make memories in that house, lots of stuff happens. There's storms, emotional storms. There's all of these changes that occur in our life, but the foundation keeps us solid. So all of this tipping over of the body is a representation of the storms that we have, and yet we have some solid ground here. We have legs keeping us up. Same thing with the tree. The roots stay deep into the soil, and any storm that comes through, for the most part, can keep that tree upright. And so that's why we're doing so many movements that are taking us off kilter or off balance, is because I want you to see that our bodies can be strong physically, and emotionally we can be strong too, no matter what kind of changes are coming our way. So we're going to stick to that shorter sequence, but by adding those subtle adjustments. So we're going to follow with our breath. I'll guide you through it. Breathe when you need to breathe. Sit tall. Here we go. Inhale to that strong mountain. Exhale, reach up and over the mountain. Come back to center, take a breath. Reach up and over, breathe out, feel your body here. Breathe in the cactus or the mountain. Now breathe out the cactus, lift your heels. Tip over your cactus, inhale back to center. Exhale, tip. Inhale, lower your feet, exhale. Make the A-OK sign. Inhale, become a wide tree. Exhale, here comes the bird. We turn to the right. Inhale, we turn to the left. Exhale. Inhale up the mountain. Exhale, waterfall. Inhale to that tipped over falling star. Exhale back to center. Inhale, falling star. Exhale, hands to heart. You can see we get off balance. One body part is rooted into the floor. And maybe if you think of your life in the terms of the tree and the roots, maybe you have one root that really sustains you, one of those values and principles. Ideally, we have four that work in our body and our mind and our spirit, and that's what sustains us through changes. Let's take that sequence again. We're going to inhale to mountain, exhale up and over the mountain. Inhale mountain, exhale up and over the mountain. Inhale up to mountain. Exhale cactus, lift your heels. Inhale we tip. Exhale center. Inhale we tip. Exhale center. Lower your heels. A-OK. Inhale that wild tree. Exhale, cross your arms, turn to the right. Inhale back to center. Exhale, turn left. Inhale up the mountain. Exhale, waterfall. Inhale that falling star, tip and reach. Exhale, center. Inhale, falling star. Exhale, hands to the heart. And do it one more time. So the purpose of guiding the breath with the movements is that we are no longer thinking about the things that are rattling our tree or our structure. We're completely in the moment. And when we have our awareness in the moment, we are better aligned with who we want to be. We're not living in the past and we're not worried about the future. We're right here. And that is awareness. Inhale, mountain. Exhale, up and over. Feel that. Inhale, mountain. Exhale, up and over. Inhale, mountain. Exhale, cactus. Lift your heels. Inhale, we tip. Exhale, we come back to center. Inhale, we tip. Exhale, back to center. Lower your heels. Grab your A-OK. Inhale the tree. Exhale, turn the bird. Inhale to center. Exhale, turn that bird. Beautiful. Inhale up the mountain. Exhale, waterfall. Falling star. Inhale, open. Exhale, star. Inhale, open. Exhale to your heart. Beautiful. Take your feet closer together. So get off that horse. Now my hips, my knees, and my ankles are in one long line. Go ahead and place your hands on your lap and lean forward. This releases the back. Sometimes when we work our balance by taking one leg off the ground, we can start to feel a little bit of pressure in the spine. So we want to give ourselves a chance to release that. Now that we've released it with a neutral leg, take your legs wide back on the horse and let's go back to the elbows. And maybe even circle your wrists, just let them kind of just release a bit. Turn and look over the right shoulder. And now look over the left shoulder. Come back to center and slowly rise up. Back to where we began. If you remember, we were focusing on our shoulders and our hips and our lungs and finding that circular smooth breath. So here's what we're gonna do. I want you to place your hands on your legs, maybe look down at the floor or close your eyes. I want you to see a beautiful circle just in front of your body. On your next inhale, draw a line up that circle, trace it till you get to the top, and then exhale, draw a line down the circle. Inhale, draw a line up. Exhale, draw a line other side. You're going to take 5 more breaths like that. Just circling, paying attention to the mind, focused on the circle and the breath, being integrated. Just do 2 more. Just feel the body begin to calm down. And then sit really tall. Drop your right ear to your right shoulder. So the purpose of these physical postures, these movements, to bring awareness to what you feel. Come back to center, go to the other side. So when we reach up and over the mountain, we feel a dynamic stretch through the side body. Come back to center. Let's try it. So we go up the mountain, and then we go up and over the mountain. So I want you to stay there and think about where you feel it. That is present time. That is a sensation that you feel right now. Come back to center. Reach to the other side. Beautiful. Come back to center and lower your arms. Okay, so now we're going to go back to our legs for a moment. Take your left leg and straighten it out in front. Hands rest on your thighs and lean forward towards me. Keep reaching towards me. So now the sensation is not in the side body, but it's behind the knee. And then we rise back up. Let's switch sides. Right leg goes straight out. Take a breath in and lean forward. And then rise back up. So what's so beautiful about this practice is the more that we practice yoga, we practice bringing our awareness to sensation, we actually apply that to our lives. We catch ourselves when we're worried about the future. We catch ourselves when we are thinking about the past as if we could change it. And so by being consistent with your practice and really understanding who you are and how you show up in the world. So if your thoughts are predominantly based on the past, this practice can teach you to be present in the now. When we're present in the now, we are more awake and aware of our interactions with people, with our generosity of our heart. And that really is how we evolve into being the best human beings we can be, is to be present with what is. So while the stretches do amazing things for the structure of our body, our tissues, our muscles, it does so much for the inner journey in. And that's what this whole month has been about, is really looking at the layers and going deep into who we are. And for each of us, our values they might be different, they might be similar. I have some pretty strong values around compassion and service. I refuse to do a job that doesn't align with service or compassion. And I know that. that's just me. Maybe two of your values are very different, and that's what makes you, you. But when we know these things about ourselves, then we know when we're out of alignment. And then we can do something about it, what we think, how we act, and how we speak. So we're going to continue on really diving into who we are. And so as we progress through a season change next week, going through the summer to fall transition, we can sustain ourselves because we have solid roots or we have a strong foundation. As we move through the final weeks of the month, we're going to continue on this journey of really looking at this object of ourselves as a tree with these deep roots or a foundation that is very solid. Go ahead and open up your arms as wide as you can. Feel the stretch, feel the sensation. Tip over, doesn't matter which, reach up, up, up. Come back to center, reach over, up, up, up. Come back to a T. Bring your arms down, tuck your chin, and close your eyes for a moment. So often we close the practice with gratitude. And I would love for you to think of someone in your life that you're grateful for, someone who brings you joy right now, today. Person in your life, maybe it's a caregiver, maybe it's a friend, maybe it's a partner. Just send them thanks. Gratitude is one of the principles in which I live my life by. It's important to me. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Thank you for practicing. Thank you for breathing with me. I hope to see you really soon. Have a beautiful day.